Hey everyone, Caleb the Antique Book Collective, and today I'm getting to you guys with another ex-library book video, and this one is, can I make money selling ex-library books? So if you guys watched the last video where I explained how it is worth listing them on eBay, then odds are you know the answer is yes, you can in fact make money selling ex-library books on eBay. However, let me just add a little caveat. It's not just you can make money, you can make a lot of money selling ex-library books on eBay. So I have personally sold some ex-library books for over $200. I have sold several for that price point. However, that is anything but the norm for what I sell ex-library books for. So as you can see on the shelf, on the top left, I think for you guys, maybe that's your top right. Yeah, top right for you guys, sorry. Those are some Louis L'Amour, or however you pronounce the guy's name, ex-library books, and they are the padded leather ones, and they're really cool and they're really nice. Only issue is they don't sell for a whole lot of money. So for me, I might be selling all those ones up there for like $30 or something like that. Now, that's not very much money whatsoever. That's actually below what I normally like to sell books for in general as it is, much less a set of books. So the reason why I even picked those up was because I went to a Friends of the Library sale and there wasn't very many good things at all for me to get there, so I actually just grabbed whatever I knew I could make at least a little bit money on. So it wasn't a complete wash and a complete loss of a sale. So that's the only reason why I got those. Again, they aren't very good price for me. That's why they are still on the unlisted shelf, the shelf of death, if you guys will. So that being said, there are going to be some ex-library books that you get if you aren't paying a lot of attention, or if you just end up like me and you're like, well, I might as well get something while I'm here. There will be some books that you get that aren't worth a whole lot of money. Meanwhile, there are some other ex-library books, like on the bottom right for you guys, I believe. There's a children's book. It's the Iliad. It's illustrated. It's pretty neat. Then you have this one right here, the blue one, which is the Sojourner. I still can't say that word today. And you also have on the right of that another set of books, which are just like little educational books. And those ones that I just listed off are all a lot more money for me to be able to sell them for. I think the most expensive one that I'll be able to sell is going to be that little set of educational books. However, the Iliad was a good amount of money, and the Sojourner was a good amount of money as well. I still can't talk. Sorry, guys. That word, it just is my bane to my existence. But with all that said, those books are not the most exciting ex-library books out there. I mean, none of them are on their own going to be like what makes or breaks my entire business. However, they are a good bread and butter sort of thing for you guys. So let's just think about it from the point of a grocery store. So those are going to be not your dairy and meat aisle, which have the more expensive things. Those are going to be more like your, as I said, bread, and I guess butter's dairy, but you know, bread and butter. It's going to be the things that represent most of your sales if you get a good chunk of them. I mean, they're pretty easy to sell. Ex-library books are, I find personally at least, because they are the lower value things and people like jumping on things that are a lower cost. So those will move a lot more, and if you get a chunk of them, you will be selling a whole lot of them. Whereas for me, when I have the more expensive books, the more expensive antiques that are like one-offs and it's the only one on all of eBay, I'm going to hang on to those for a long time before they finally sell. I have a couple of books, as I've mentioned in other videos. I have some that I've held on to for several years. Most of my books, I think, don't last anything over 2 years. I mean, I haven't been doing it too stinking long, but I think I have every single book that has been over for 2 years. Like, I think I've had all those sell before they hit the 2-year mark. But that's not guaranteed. I mean, I'm sure there are going to be some eBay sellers out there who have held on to some books for like 10 years. So that is something you guys do want to definitely consider, is these move fast. They move faster than a lot of other books. I mean, they're not all guaranteed to move insanely fast, but I personally have found that they sell pretty stinking quick. Again, it's because I like to price them so low, and I probably end up undercutting a lot of other people selling ex-library books just because I like getting those ex-library books moving. It's just fun to see them moving out, and they're just cool little books. I just like books in general, so it's just fun to see other people buying them. So with all that said and done, what kind of profits do I like to get on my ex-library books? Well, I'm just going to say it outright. I like to get the same amount of profit as I get on all my other books most of the time. So on that shelf, most of those books are all going to be the ones that I hit the normal $25 absolute minimum or $35 preferred minimum for a book, except for, of course, the Louis L'Amour ones. So again, the only reason why I cheated on those was because I was cheating for that entire sale because it wasn't really worth my time, and I might not even be going back to that sale if I don't have to. It's a good sale for me sometimes, but this last time it just was such a bummer for me. So I don't know if I'll be going back to that one. We'll see. But with all that said, the reason why I don't have a different profit margin for my ex-libray books is because I don't need to have a different margin for it. I like to have my margin, and that margin ensures that I can get a good chunk of books. I don't just buy antique books. I don't just buy ex-libray books. I don't just buy anything. Well, I guess I just buy books, but I buy all the books I can that are all within my profit margin. So if I find a romance novel that's at least clean romance, I'll be like, all right, I'll pick that one up. If I see a Bible, I'll pick that up. If I see a cookbook, if I see anything basically, so long as it fits into my morals at least, I will be selling those books because they are money. And I don't have to have just a certain genre of books because for me, my eBay store name that I chose wasn't genre specific. It was just books. I mean, it had other stuff in the name, but that's a secret. You guys aren't supposed to know. Shh. With all that said, though, I do ensure that I make a good amount of profit on my ex-libray books. And as I said in previous videos, I don't spend a lot of time cleaning the ex-libray books up. When I first started, I did put in the time to clean them up, but now I just look at them, I confirm they are in good enough shape to sell on their own, and if there's any big glaring issues that I know I can clean up really fast, I will clean those. But by and large, if a book is in really bad condition, I won't even buy it in the first place anymore, at least not if I can't sell it for a good amount of money without putting the work in. There are a couple books that I have that I buy as like project books that I will fix up, but that is again the severe minority. So when you are buying your ex-libray books, you don't have to buy them to be your loss leaders, even though I have recommended in the past that you do have some loss leaders, and those would be good loss leaders if you wanted. But they don't have to be. You can still make some really good money on your ex-libray books, depending on how much you shop around, how many you go through. If you get a good eye for it, if you've been doing it for a while, you can spot which ones will be worth more than others. Trust me, guys, you will be able to learn that skill. It is something that just comes with time. You aren't going to walk in on your first sale and be able to be like that one, that one, that one, and that one. That's not something you get to do in your first month, your first year even. I'd say you won't get it down. But after doing it for a couple of years, you'll be able to do it. As I've said in other videos, when I walk into different book sales with my mom I just brought on to the business because she liked the entire idea of it. So I walk in with her and I just walk right over to the nearest shelf and I start grabbing books because I know these certain books. I've got the eye for it because I can look at a shelf of books and I immediately know, oh, those ones there are antiques, those ones there are from the 80s, those ones there are, and I can just guess roughly the decade. Normally I'm within like 3 years. If I'm wrong at all, I'm within 3 years, like 99% of the time. It always makes my mom laugh. And I also am able to like grab some books. I'm like, all right, I'm thinking this one's $30. We look it up and it's like $30. You guys will get the eye for it as time goes on. And you don't have to be looking for just books that you've already sold in the past. You'll start to see what generally stuff sells for and all that sort of stuff. It's just something that you get with experience. So with all that said and done, from my experience, I learned that ex-libray books do have the value. You guys can definitely start in on selling ex-libray books if you are brand new. There is nothing stopping you guys from doing it after all, and there's nothing really forcing you guys to do it if you don't really want to sell ex-libray books. I don't really see the reason why you wouldn't want to unless you want to be like a prestige store that only has really, really nice books. But I mean, no one's really looking for that on eBay, I don't think. Like, potentially there probably is. I'm sure there's an audience that are only looking for beautiful books and only want a seller that only sells beautiful books. But at the end of the day, there are a lot of readers out there, and not all the readers care for the most beautiful books out there. So you guys can definitely poke around, shop around, and find the books that are best for you and for your store. But I wouldn't recommend pigeonholing yourself and only grabbing certain books at the very beginning. You can learn as you do it what sells best for you. So for me, I cast my net wide and I found what fish I could catch the best. For me, my best fish were antique books, they were sets of books, and occasionally they were the ex-libray books that were older ex-libray books. Those aren't the newer ex-libray books, except for when I could get a set of ex-libray books. So once again, I sell sets, I sell antiques, and occasionally I sell a few other things, but the sets and the antiques are where I make most of my money. So all that said and done, again, guys, I do recommend that you guys at least start checking out ex-libray books when you go to your next sale. Don't just ignore them because it's the next library book. There can be some really good money in them, especially if you can get like some nice ex-libray books from the 1800s that have like the nice leather, because I don't know why, but those beautiful old leather 1800s books sell really well. So all that said and done, I'd love for you guys to subscribe below or hit the little subscribe thing up there when it pops up to learn more about my eBay business in general or antique book businesses in general, all that sort of stuff. And be sure to check out my next video if you'd like to. So see you guys then.